It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 80. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, January 9th, 2024. A great day for a podcast about video games and much more. So that's what we're here to do. So welcome. Hope you're doing great out there in the world. Hope everything's been going your way. Have a great show for you today. We have a lot of video game things to talk about, especially video game news. So that's going to be the main focus of the show today. So it's going to be very exciting. There's been a Summer Games Fest that has happened this past Friday, and I'm going to tell you all about it in the midsection of the show this week. So welcome. So the first thing I want to tell you to do is some homework, some business, some support for your friendly local podcaster here, the Dep Lewis Show. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. I might possibly talk about it on the show, and I most likely will talk about it on the show. And full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast, places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. And then the ultimate place to follow is patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show. And this is the ultimate place to follow and gain access to exclusive content such as the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. It's a great way to support the show and get some ad-free versions of all the content that I do. And I will definitely tell you more about the Patreon at the end. So you want to listen to this whole great podcast about video games and more. And then I'll tell you about the Patreon at the end. You can go sign up, and then you're allowed to go on with the rest of your day and have a really great day. So that's the word over here from the Dep Lewis Show. But welcome to the show. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for listening, and hopefully going to have a great show for you today. So let's see here. Let's talk about the section. So we're going to have the first section, what I've been playing, what video games I've been playing since I've last talked on this microphone. Nothing too serious this week. I've been pretty light on the video games. I've been playing some random things, just jumping around. So I'll tell you about those pretty quickly this week and just talk about the year of the RPG for a bit. And then the midsection of the show today is going to be the one you really want to listen to. You want to put your headphones on. You want to make sure your ears are screwed on tight and listen to the midsection, because we're going to talk about all the video game news and happenings of the week. And we had a Summer Games Fest hosted by Jeff Keighley that took place on June 7th, 2024. It was almost 2 hours of content to watch. So I'm going to tell you about all the things I thought were interesting and then tell you there's a whole lot more in there. So the midsection is going to have a whole lot. We're going to talk about Summer Games Fest. I'm going to tell you about the other upcoming shows that are coming up. If you're listening in real time, there's actually an Xbox game showcase going on today, June 9th. So I debated whether to record before or after, but have so much information that I'm going to save that for next week. But that is going on if you're listening in real time today on this podcast. Then I'm going to tell you about two things coming out in the very near future in the midsection. And then the final section of the show this week will be the miscellaneous talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. And I'm going to get into the worldwide world of sports. That's the plan for this week. So that's the setup. So now you know what's coming. You just don't know what to fully expect. So that's going to be hopefully the magic in the podcast sauce. So let's see here. Let's get into it. What video games have I been playing? So going to be pretty quick. Just tell you about a few things. I've been playing Elden Ring some. I think I'm a little bit falling off this again. I'm almost at the 10 hours in on my new character. I think this is a pretty safe trend with me with the Elden Ring. I think I've done this 3 times now, where I really like this game. I like most of what it's doing. I think it's just a little bit too difficult probably, and a little bit too open-ended, where you can just walk around anywhere. You can fight anybody at any point, and maybe a little overwhelming. I don't know. It's a really cool game. There's an expansion coming up for it very soon that I'm going to talk about in the midsection, but Elden Ring is definitely something I like and would recommend. I just don't know if it's my particular cup of tea, but I've been playing an astrologer. I might see myself playing some more of it, but I think I could possibly spend my time a little bit wiser with my video gaming, because I just don't know how much I'm going to progress through the Elden Ring, but I really, really like that game. Maybe one day, and that is what I want to say about Elden Ring, but that's an amazing video game. So I've been just jumping around. I've jumped back into Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and playing some of that again. Started a new playthrough that's been kind of inspired by playing Astro's Playroom and how much I like that. I was like, hey man, I really want to, really should be playing a platformer, or I could dive back into a platformer I really like just for fun, because that's something you can do. You can do if you're a video gamer and have a video game. So I've been back playing some Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I completed that game, I believe it was earlier this year, but it's something I really, really like. I'm a big fan of the Ratchet and Clank series, and that's a great game to jump back into because you can skip the cutscenes and you can skip the puzzles if you want to. You can play on different difficulties, so I'm actually playing on normal difficulty this time, which is a step up for me and on the easy noob train most of the time. But I'm back playing that some, no commitments there. It's already a game I've completed, so just trying out something new with diving back in there just for fun. And something else I've been doing, so I've been telling you I've been jumping around. I am back playing Stardew Valley. So I've started a new file there, which I've done a few times. So same little bit thing as Elden Ring for me, where I've tried Stardew Valley a couple times over the years to different varying degrees. I probably put, I'd probably say 50 hours over the course of Stardew Valley being out. But I made a new character. His name is Calden he's on Bridge 4 Farm, and that is from The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the great Calden, a great character. I've been really happy with my character design. I think it looks like a little bit of a disheveled farmer Calden, so I think I did a really good job there. And then anytime I see Bridge 4 Farm, it warms my Brandon Sanderson book reading fan heart. So it's been pretty fun. And Stardew Valley, I've been playing on the Switch, been playing some handheld, been playing even on the screen. So back using my Switch some, diving into some old games, really trying to just kind of go to some old favorites at this point. I think it's really what I've been doing. So what else have I been playing? That's really been about it. I played a match 2 or Fortnite. I played some League of Legends Wild Rift last night. Friend of the show, Pab, got on and we played some games and Merc and had a really, really great time. We got some wins. They really helped me improve in the game. They helped me learn that I need to go back to base and get my items as soon as I can, or most of the time, once you build up about 1,000 gold, you need to really go be looking to upgrade. So that was something I was never doing unless I was dying, and that really helped me step it up. And I made a couple good plays. We had some wins, understanding the game a little bit better. Still don't understand it fully, but they were able to kind of tell me where to go on the map when we got later on in the match, and I felt that was pretty helpful. So had some really good wild rifting time. So I definitely need to talk about that some if I keep playing. So I'm going to make a note of that real quick here live on the show so I can put that in the show notes, talking about some Wild Rift, because that has been a new event. I've been playing some Wild Rift. It's one of the not one of the first mobile games I've played, but I'm really not usually into mobile games. It's been the first one I played in a while, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm learning the controls, getting used to it, and having a pretty good time with it. So that's been something I've been video gaming on as well. But it is the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. That's what I've been talking about all year. It's just really a focus on trying to play some RPGs and having a plan for them. And the current game I am playing is Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I'm hoping to move into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after that. I have another leg of this RPG parlay. I'd like to play Yakuza Like a Dragon into Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I've made no progress on that leg yet. And then Super Mario RPG, which I'm pretty close to finishing, and then into Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door Remake are my plans. And then I have Baldur's Gate 3. If that ever goes cross-play, I would like to play some with a great friend of the show, Sanfi. So that is the plan for the year of the RPG. I was trying to think about the year of the RPG. I forget, I lost my train of thought, but that has been something I've just been trying to stick to. Final Fantasy. What was I going to say about the year of the RPG? Nothing. It's been going really good, and I just haven't made any progress. I've been noticing some of these video game things. If I do make a plan or try to stick to it, I sometimes just don't stick to it at all. So really, really light structure. But last year was the year of the survival horror, and I played more of those games than I normally would. And this has been the year of the RPG, and I've played more of those games than I normally would so far. So I think it's been living up to what it's meant to do. So year of the RPG has been pretty good, and I'm going to continue trekking along there. Final Fantasy VII Remake has been very fun. It's just been a very long game, and it's not something I'm used to. And I'm getting close to finishing it, so, hopefully I'll be telling you about that very soon. That's the plan. So that's what I've been playing. Those are my video game thoughts. Those are my year of the RPG thoughts, and I've playing some really great games. Been back to a lot of old favorites this week, and no telling what the upcoming week will bring. Probably diving back into some of these, and I will definitely be back to tell you about it. So that's the plan. So thank you for listening to this first section of the show about which video games I've been playing. Told you a little bit about the year of the RPG and what's going on with that on the Dep Lewis Show. And now we're going to wrap up this section and going to take a quick break and then come back for the midsection of this show, which is going to be extremely epic this week. we're going to talk about Summer Games Fest. I'm going to tell you about all the things I thought were particularly interesting from that show, and then tell you about all the information and news you need to know. So go take a quick break, get really prepared for this great midsection of the show, and come back to Dep Lewis Show episode 80 after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show episode 80, the section of the show where I tell you about all the video game happenings and news that you need to know since the last time I've talked to you. So the main thing I want to get into in this midsection is Summer Games Fest. So I'll tell you about all my reactions and thoughts and information that I've seen on that. But I think I'm going to switch it up and tell you about my other two pieces of information I want to tell you first, just so we can get into the Summer Games Fest and all the announcement stuff going on. So the first thing I want to tell you about this week on what's going on are some upcoming releases. So these are things you want to put on your calendar. I know a lot of people are excited for these, and they are coming up shortly. So I want to get these out of the way and tell you about them first. So the first one is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. So this is the updated version. It's getting like the Persona Royal treatment if you play the Persona series, which is birthed from Shin Megami Tensei. But this new edition releases June 14th, 2024 for Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. So I have played some of the base game. I think in this version, it's an updated version with additional content. So I think that's probably the best way to play, but I think you can also play the original version of this game in that package as well, but don't quote me on that, but I think I've heard that. So I'm going to tell you about some of the back of the box talk on this so you can know what's going on with this game if you've never heard of it, or if you are familiar, I'll tell you what's going on with this particular iteration. So in this one, they're saying revenge awaits. Embark on this definitive version of this critically acclaimed Shin Megami Tensei 5, massively expanded with a brand new storyline featuring new locations, demons, and choices to make that will dictate the fate of all existence. So there's what's the new information, new content in this game. So it consists of 2 complete story paths, experience a brand new route, the Canon of Vengeance, a dramatic tale of revenge by the fallen centered around new characters, and an enigmatic cohort of demons, the Kaditsu, who plot their own dark designs apart from the war of those who fight to maintain order and those who seek to defy it, or explore the original story told in SMT5. So that was what I was alluding to earlier. That one's called the Canon of Creation, which is an eternal conflict between angels and demons in which the protagonist fights for the world's fate. So some of the more backstory is when a grisly murder scene in modern-day Tokyo blocks our protagonist's walk home. An unplanned detour leaves him buried and unconscious. He awakens in New Tokyo, a wasteland ravaged by apocalypse called, it's D-A-apostrophe-A-T, DAT, or D-A, I don't know how you would say that. But before bloodthirsty demons can claim his life, a savior emerges, and the two of them unite to become a mighty being, neither human nor demon, but known as the Nahobino. It's a very cool character with really, really cool long blue hair. It's awesome. And with newfound power, the protagonist ventures through DAT, I can't say that word today, enigmatic. It's been in there twice, an enigmatic realm filled with mythical deities and demonic tyrants in constant conflict for survival. Searching for answers, the protagonist must forge his own path in a battle between angels and demons to dictate the fate of the world. So, definitely a cool game, a cool RPG a lot of people will be excited for, and if this is your first time playing, I think this is the package you want to buy, and gives you 2 options, one hopefully a little bit upgraded, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, releasing on June 14th, 2024, so coming up in just a few days if you're listening to this podcast in real time. All right, the other bit of information before we get into Summer Games Fest I want to tell you about is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. This is coming in hot very soon. This is coming out June 21st, 2024, so I want to remind you about that. It's going to run you $39.99 US. It's an expansion featuring an all-new story set in the Land of Shadow, imbued with mystery, perilous dungeons, new enemies, and items. So it has a deep and engaging new story, guided by Emperor Michaela. Players are beckoned to the Land of Shadow, a place obscured by the Erdtree where the goddess Marika first set foot. In these strange new lands, players discover the secrets of the world as they meet others who follow Michaela's footsteps with ulterior motives. So in this, you can travel an uncharted world. Shadow of the Erdtree takes players beyond the lands between to explore the Land of Shadow, a completely new world in Elden Ring. Players can seamlessly travel back and forth between its vast map, interspersed with diverse situations and meticulous dungeons where menacing enemies roam. Expanded abilities and items. Shadow of the Erdtree adds new weapons, equipment, weapons, skills, and magic not found in the base game, along with new enemies, boss encounters, and plot lines to further increase players' RPG freedom. Take on these threats with the new powers you can acquire. So I'm sure this is going to be a pretty awesome expansion. The things I've heard are this is a little more late game content, so I don't think you want to start with a brand new character going into this. I don't think you have to complete the game to get into this section of the world, but I think you want to have a somewhat leveled of a character. But I don't really have any recommendation on what level or anything like that. But this is going to be a great expansion. So I've seen a lot of people out there streaming base Elden Ring, trying to get ready, trying to get their skills up, maybe trying to level up a little bit before getting into this. But this thing is coming in hot. So get ready for the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree expansion coming out June 21st, 2024. So those were the two really, really imminent releases I wanted to tell you about on this show to keep you up to date. And now I want to get into the bread and butter, the main event, the what you came here for, the Summer Games Fest talk. So Summer Games Fest took place on this past Friday. It's around 1 hour and 55 minutes of a show. There are plenty of people talking over it, or you can just watch the base show if you'd like to on YouTube, and a lot of great options there. I think, who did I watch? I watched MinMax stream over this. Giant Bomb was streaming. I saw Jeff Gerstmann put up a VOD or a video. I don't know if he did it live, but he has one on his channel now. I think Nextland are the same, so a lot of good options to go watch and get some commentary over the show. But it was, I'm gonna leave with my thoughts. I don't think it was a great show. I really don't. I think they showed too many non-game cutscenes for these games, so just kind of trailery things. I think there was a lot of not too many games that I'm excited for, just being straight up. There's really just a few. I don't know if there's anything here that it's a definite purchase for me, actually. So I'm not trying to hate on the show completely, but just a lot of stuff that's not for me or didn't get me particularly excited. But there is some interesting stuff in here, some stuff I'll definitely be liking to follow, and definitely want to see people's reactions to it, maybe even play myself and get sold on at some point. But I'm going to run down the games that I did find most interesting, things that I would be most accustomed to playing. But overall, I think this was a pretty weak show and a little bit disappointing. I know they kind of were setting expectations to be low from the beginning, but I think they really should quit doing that. I think they really take some of the mystery out of it. I think they too often nowadays are telling you what's to come in these shows. I think they should be a little bit more chill with it and just put on the show they'd like to put on and not have to announce or set expectations so seriously before. I think that was something that people were really clamoring for back in the day when you would get no information. But now we get all sorts of leaks and all sorts of real-time information all the time. Maybe just putting on a show and would be more useful at this time. So that's just my 2 cents on this. And I don't know, not a lot of games from this, and but we're gonna get into it. So that's a real bad sales pitch for the Summer Games Fest. But I don't know. I think they got to figure this stuff out going in the future. But let's talk about the games that were in this show. So the first one I want to tell you about is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. They got the release date is set for October 11, 2024. This is an anime spin-off game for PC via Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. It's going to have characters like Goku, Frieza, Boo, Vegeta, and more. Also 6 early character unlocks for those who pre-order their copy, including another mystery fighter to play as too. So this is a game, I played some Budokai back in the day. I like the one Dragon Ball Fighters, something I have mild interest in. I haven't really been into a fighting game for a while, so I'm always kind of trying to go through my video game trends myself, and I just think this is one that's checked off my list for now. I don't think I'm really trying to tackle a fighting game at this point. So I don't know if I'll be signing up for this. I do have some high hopes that this will be a pretty good game and something I can be tempted to try. But Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has a release date set for October 11, 2024. Yeah, and back to my thought about the expectations versus the show, because I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I think they should do less than that. I think they should just put the show on, tell us when the show's coming, and let us decide what we think about the information from it. Because for this example, in my case, they announced that they're not going to have a whole lot of great announcements. It's going to be a little bit mild of a show. Overall, the year's been kind of mild. There's been all the layoffs going on too. So just a little bit, definitely a strange year for video games, and sad for the layoffs. So I don't know. If they come out with a million games, don't know. You always want games, but I'm losing what I'm saying again. But they should just put the show on. And this one, that's what I was saying. They came out for this one, and we're like, not going to have a lot of great announcements. And then when I watched the show, there really weren't a lot of great announcements. So it was like a double whammy of disappointment there. So I think they could have only had one wave of disappointment, and at least, I don't know. I don't think I would react any differently. I don't think I would be. I'm not hating on any of this. I'm just saying, I'm not too excited by it. I'm just being honest about that. So I don't know. I think they got to figure some of these things out. It's a new era without E3. We have all these different showcases going on, but I do love watching these showcases. I look forward to them a whole lot, and they're not all going to be winners. That all the games are going to appeal to me or you or whatever, but just fun to learn about the video game. So that's what we're here to do. So we talked about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Street Fighter 6 is getting a Fatal Fury crossover. Capcom is promising to deliver 4 new characters with Season 2, including a crossover with Fatal Fury that will see fighters Terry and Mei joining the battle. Also on their way are classic Street Fighter characters M. Bison and Elena. The content will roll out through the remainder of the year. Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a new game that got announced that I do have some interest in. I've been really wanting to play some Shredder's Revenge. I tried it when it first came out, but I've been wanting to play some again, and it's been on sale. And this looks like a game in that pretty similar thread. I was trying to say thread or vein, and I said thrain almost, but in that same similar vein. But Power Rangers Rita's Rewind has been revealed, and this old school style video game sees players team up to fight off putties and other iconic villains while playing as the original Rangers themselves, maybe called putties. I used to watch Power Rangers when I was little, but it's been a very, very long time, and I did think they were cool back in the day. Had some action figures, so I think this could be a good mashup of things that I'd want to try out. Players can be seen switching between beat 'em up, first person shooting, and racing gameplay. So a little bit of variety in there, which is nice, and I think it's a cool package to do the Power Rangers treatment to, like really similar to Shredder's Revenge, and that's been something I've been wanting to play a lot recently. So I think a pretty cool announcement, and I do have some Power Rangers fandom, even though it's pretty mild, but I think it's cool enough for a video game, so I'll be possibly checking that out. All right, I think one of the biggest pieces of information from the show is this right here. And Alan Wake 2 has a Night Springs DLC, which is when the show was going on, it was out the next day, but this is out right now if you'd like to go buy it. Night Springs DLC is out right now for Alan Wake 2, some additional content. So I believe you have to pay $20 if you want to access this, and that $20 is for the deluxe upgrade of Alan Wake 2. And this is on sale for 20% right now until June 13th. If you're listening in real time, that might help you out. So it is $16 at the moment. The Lake House expansion is the other one listed besides Night Springs. So if you're paying this $20, you're getting the Night Springs DLC, and then you're also getting the future Lake House expansion DLC is how I believe it works. And then there's also some other content in there as well. I think it was like some outfit stuff or some cosmetic stuff, but it still seems like a pretty good package. And Alan Wake 2 fans are super excited. They had Sam Lake up there on the stage presenting very great. He was just very interesting to watch. Jesse Faden from Control makes an appearance in the footage, so that's they're tying the worlds together a little bit here. I think I'm a little bit too scared for Alan Wake. It is a game I own. I played the first game and really, really liked it, but the Alan Wake 2 is some pretty good survival horror going on, and some psychological horror, and something I might get into again at some point. I've probably played 5 to 10 hours of it, but Alan Wake 2 definitely is a cool game, and this DLC just has a great tone. The characters are cool. It just all seems very, very cool and interesting, and just very excited for the Alan Wake 2 fans out there. So Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC is out right now, so go pay for that and play it if you'd like to. All right, the next announcement from the show, I'm just kind of going, one thing I want to say, I'm not talking about all the games from the Summer Games Fest. I'm talking about the main ones that I had interest in, and those are, and I'm kind of going in the order of interest to lower interest, but I want to tell you about these things. Hopefully there'll be something in here, something you might be interested in more than me. So that is the whole goal here, is just to get the video game information out there to the world. All right, so another game talking about the world. This is a great game for that, and that's Sid Meier's Civilization 7. So this game has been announced. Developer for Axis Games and 2K announced this is coming to PC and consoles in 2025. So that's been a little bit of a trend with these announcements, seeing a lot of 2025s. And I know there's only half a year till 2025, but a lot of these feel like late 2025 announcements just from a feeling vibe. But Firaxis is hosting a gameplay showcase in August of this year, 2024, to show off more of Sid Meier's Civilization 7, which I would put the smart money on that game being good. And all the Civ fans rejoicing. And Civ I've played kind of back in the computer days more so. Haven't played any more of the recent ones, but I definitely think they're a high quality game and very fun. It's just something that I haven't dedicated time to in a long time. Alright, so let's get into some more announcements from Summer Game Fest. So they announced LEGO Horizon Adventures. So this seems a bit more friendly than the Guerrilla Games mainline series. It includes co-op seemingly. And they have LEGO versions of Aloy and the Robot Dinosaurs. This is coming to PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store, Nintendo Switch, and PS5 this holiday season. So it's cool to see Aloy go on the Switch and she's already been on the PC, but it's cool to see her go on the Switch, I guess. And this seems like a pretty good mashup. Horizon has its fans and it has its detractors, I guess as anything else does. A lot of people tout the most recent Horizon as being kind of boring, Horizon Forbidden West, or just kind of bland, like it looks good but doesn't have much heart. I think it's kind of the vibe a lot of people give off from that game. But this looks cool. I kind of have some, some desire to want to play a Lego game. This looks really, really cool. I played a little bit of Lego Star Wars on Game Pass at one point, but just something on my brain. And this is, I don't know if this is something I would play, but looks interesting, and I think it'll probably do pretty well. I think it's a pretty smart mashup, and I wonder, when I was watching MinMax talk over this, they're like, hey, this is, I think they might have mentioned it. I wonder if we'll see other games get the similar treatment. Are we going to see everything get Lego-fied? Hopefully we don't see everything get Lego-fied, because I don't want to just play Lego games, but it seems like a cool option, and I can imagine this is something that they're going to continue to utilize. And I guess the positive spin is it can attract, new audience to a franchise. So I think that's probably a good thing. It just, it could soften some of the future content for the mainline franchise in the future. That could be the one worry, but you never know. I guess you never know. It's cool. So it looks pretty cool. LEGO Horizon Adventures. All right, some more games. Quidditch Champions got announced. This launches for PC via the Epic Game Store and Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox on September 3rd, 2024. So this is a Harry Potter Quidditch playing game, it looks like. I'm sure there'll be some RPG elements, but I think the main focus of this game is playing Quidditch. I'm assuming there will be some online stuff in there. So Quidditch Champions coming out September 3rd, 2024. So pretty soon on that. Star Wars Outlaws. They showed a new gameplay trailer. The protagonist Kay Vess making her way through and around the Empire. More info on this at the upcoming Ubisoft Forward, which is, I think that's tomorrow, but I'm going to tell you about that. Well, I can look right now. Ubisoft Forward is, June 10th, 2024. So more information on Star Wars Outlaws coming up for that. I think there's some question marks about this. This is like the first open world Star Wars, but Ubisoft doing an open world Star Wars seems pretty like a pretty good combination. Seems like it could have I think it'd have some pretty decent quality. I don't know how great it'll be. Kind of my takes on it, but I hope it will be great. But something I've been thinking about playing some Star Wars games. I'm a decent Star Wars fan. I've been thinking about picking up one of those Jedi games, like I was saying a minute ago, playing one of the Lego games. So I have a little bit of Star Wars on the brain, and Star Wars Outlaws is expected to launch on August 30th, 2024. So something that looked pretty cool was a game called Mecha Break. This is a new trailer was shown off. This is a robot game, and it's set for a beta test date for this August 2024. This presentation also revealed that there are some designers providing their talents that have worked on Metal Gear, Gundam, Armored Core, Xenogears, so some great pedigree there for designing some of the game's mechs. And I think Armored Core was pretty successful last year, so this is looking like it's trying to stick a little bit in that same genre and try to capitalize on some of the momentum there. So Mecha Break looking pretty interesting, and it's set for beta test coming August 2024. All right, so in Summer Games Fest, they also mentioned Skate. It's EA's long dormant franchise is coming back. Players can be seen climbing buildings and chaotically rolling around as they use every inch of the city to get around. Still in pre-alpha is what they say, but there are console playtests coming up relatively soon. So sign up for them before they kick off this fall 2024. So I know Skate has some pretty hardcore fans. I'm more of a Tony Hawk side of the coin on the skating fan. I've never really got into Skate. It was a little bit too technical and a little bit too late on my skateboarding, video gaming from thinking about it. It was really after the Tony Hawk craze or towards the end of it, and I played a whole lot of Tony Hawk, and that's one of my favorite franchises of all time for sure. But Skate, the longer way to return, it seems like it's going to be coming out. There's no telling with some of these announcements. They're in pre-alpha, so that's one of the kind of the first times I've heard that. And they are signing up for console playtest this fall, so that's what they're giving you there. All right, so a hugely successful game called Valorant. And this is Riot Games is bringing its competitive fantasy shooter Valorant to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. So pretty good information there, something I might want to try out myself. And I've been playing Riot's League of Legends Wild Rift recently, so I have some good momentum going with liking Riot Games. But this game has been exclusive to PC since its launch. That's Valorant. This won't feature crossplay support, but players can keep their progress across platforms with cross progression. So no cross-play, but you got cross-progression, so that's nice. You can keep your stats going. There is a limited beta test set to begin next week, June 14, 2024, with a full console launch expected to follow sometime in the future. So Valorant. And hey, hold on one second. There's a lot of noise going on out there, so hold on one second. All right, well, sorry for that hiccup. There was a car alarm going off that was very, very distracting, but I am back. We just talked about Valorant. We are going through Summer Games Fest, so the next game I want to tell you about was Killer Bean. So this is a tongue-in-cheek action game, and it has some over-the-top sandbox gameplay to players in summer 2024. So this game is coming. Summer 2024 is here. What are we waiting on? Footage showed the ability to drive cars and jet skis, breakdance through bullets, switch between first and third person perspectives, and more. So this game, it looks a little bit silly from when you immediately look at it, but it seems like it could be doing some pretty cool stuff with the gameplay, and it was really pretty surprising with the gameplay it was showing off. So I'll definitely be interested to see what people are talking about this game. And this could be a, don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing, but Killer Bean looking very interesting and really, really just based on the gameplay. So that's something I enjoy in video games, and a lot of people do too. So it really could be a fun time there with the Killer Bean, and it has a weird looking characters and stuff like that. So it could really stand out, and that's something that is cool to do. So Killer Bean, definitely go check out the footage from that. So a few more games here to talk about from the Summer Games Fest. Wanderstop is Annapurna Interactive, Ivy Road, and the Stanley Parable creator David Rita revealed their new game Wanderstop, a cozy farming sim that might have a few secrets to hide. Life in Wanderstop seems pleasant as we watch his protagonist garden, make tea, and relax in a small fairy tale-like town. It comes to PC via Steam and PS5 later this year. So that's Wanderstop from Annapurna Interactive. Ivy Road and the Stanley Parable creator David, I guess it's Redden. All right, but they talked about Palworld at the Summer Games Fest. They have an update coming soon that adds more pals, a new raid, a new island, a higher level cap, and more. All set to drop with the Sakurajima update on June 27, 2024. Pocket Pair also confirmed that the update will also add dedicated servers for Xbox. So the last two things to talk about from the Summer Games Fest, I'd like to tell you about are Monster Hunter Wilds. Capcom is confirming crossplay will be supported for players on PC via Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Also clarifying cross-progression will not be supported. Still, crossplay support is yet another promising update before launch in 2025. So I think this is a little bit of an annoying trend, seeing cross-play and cross-progression talked about so much, and if they have either one, I think it's a little bit of some confusing messaging. You really have to dial in on the words being said there. So hopefully at some point they're just going to have both of these things built into the games. But even looking at them, cross-progression, but they don't have cross-play. So you can't play with people from the other side, but your progression and stats will go on. So it's not. That's like trying to think of Rocket League. Rocket League has both of these, from the way I understand. You can play your same Rocket League profile on any of your platforms, and you can play with any of the other platforms as well. So I don't know, just something that I'll continue to keep following that. But Monster Hunter Wilds not coming out till 2025, so nothing for the a lot of 2025 stuff going on here. Last thing I want to tell you about from the Summer Games Fest was this. This is a Deer and Boy. It looks like a beautiful new game from first-time developer Jason Houdet, or Houdet. It looks like a little bit touching with the deer growing up, and probably something happening. Hopefully, nothing bad to the deer. There was another game shown off with an animal in there, and I definitely have a soft spot for that. So meant to look up the name of that game too, but thinking I probably won't play them because they look a little bit too tugging at your heartstrings for me. But definitely looks like some beautiful games, hopefully some nice experiences, and the last one was called Deer and Boy. So those have been that's the wrap up of the Summer Games Fest. So, from my perspective, not really a great show, not a lot of great announcements, nothing. I don't even know if I have one thing that's the definite purchase from me from this show. I had a great time watching it though. I love watching the talkovers. I like seeing what they're doing with the show. I like seeing this is a pretty big show for the video game world, so it gives you a little bit of insight in what's going on to big time video gaming. A lot of money being spent here and things like that. So definitely something to notice, but I think pretty subpar. And I think they're doing, I don't know, I don't want to be too negative on it, but it's a down year, some subpar announcements. There's been a lot of video game layoffs, and there's still some stuff coming out, but I think it's a little bit of a murky time in the video game world, but there's some great video games. I mean, there's tons of video games to play. You can go play your backlog. There are great new video games coming out. There's AAA games, there's indie games, there's all sorts of stuff. You can play sports games, which come out every year. There's all sorts of stuff to play. So you don't need every announcement to be for you. And there was not a lot of announcements for me in the Summer Games Fest. So, a little bit disappointing there, but, still enjoyed my time. And hopefully, hopefully something in here will spark your interest a little more. But definitely you can give me your feedback at DepLewisShow@gmail.com for anything you want to. But we just talked about Summer Games Fest. So, today is June 9th, 2024. So there's also an Xbox game showcase today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I debated whether to record before or after, but I figured there'd be might be too much video game news and information for one podcast. So I'm going to save all the Xbox news for next week. And there's also a Ubisoft Forward coming up on the 10th. So 6/10/2024. So I'll have that to talk about next week as well. And then we're looking out for a Nintendo Direct. There's been a lot of rumors speculating around there. We don't really know when it's coming. We expect sometime soon. So hopefully I'll be talking to you about a Nintendo Direct sometime soon. And once again, they've kind of said with that, they're laying out the course. Hey, we're not going to talk about the successor. Hey, we're not going to talk about any. We're only going to talk about remasters. It's like I think that's a trend that should stop. They don't need to. I don't know. They don't need to give us that information. They need to, just give it to us once, and then hopefully have some great games on the back end would be my thoughts. But love the season of showcases, so I'll definitely be here to tell you about them, and I'll have some to talk about next week for sure. So you want to always listen to the Dep Lewis Show, and especially over these weeks in the summer, you're going to get a lot of great video game information. So that is great for us all. So for the midsection of the show today, we talked about the upcoming release of Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which comes out on June 14th, 2024. We talked about the upcoming release of the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion for Elden Ring, which releases on June 21st, 2024. And then we got into all the things most of the things from the Summer Games Fest that took place on June 7th, 2024. So definitely go check that out for yourself. Go read some websites, recaps. Go watch the actual video itself. Go watch some talkovers, and hopefully you'll find something great in there. But we talked about games like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Street Fighter 6, Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, Alan Wake 2, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Lego Horizon Adventures, Quidditch Champions, Star Wars Outlaws, Mecha Break, Skate, Valorant, Killer Bean, Wanderstop, Palworld, Monster Hunter Wilds, and This is Deer and Boy, or The Deer and Boy. I'm going to look up, let's see, Deer and Boy. I feel like I keep messing that name up. No, it's just called Deer and Boy, so I think it's a pretty cool name. But Deer and Boy. And then we talked about the upcoming showcase. Xbox showcase is taking place later today, so I'll be talking about that next week on the Dep Lewis Show. And then the Ubisoft Forward is tomorrow, and I'll be talking about that next week on the Dep Lewis Show as well. And then we're looking out for that Nintendo Direct, and I will be talking about that on the Dep Lewis Show after that happens, for sure. So all the great video game information you need to know. And thank you for listening to that. And we're going to take one final break. We're going to hear some lovely break music. We're going to come back for the miscellaneous talk section of the show this week. And we're just going to get into the world wide world of sports. So the video games for this week are done. So, take your headset off, put your controller down, recharge it, and, come back for the final section. And we're going to, put your baseball hat on, get your glove, and we're going to get into the world wide world of sports after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 80, the miscellaneous talk section. This is the spot reserved for anything outside the video game world. So for today, I'm going to get into the worldwide world of sports as I usually do. And I want to tell you about what's going on with my favorite teams out there. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers first. So it's the off season for football, but the Panthers have made an announcement. They made this on June 3rd, 2024, that Tepper Sports and Entertainment and the city of Charlotte announced a proposed partnership that would have the city contribute $650 million for renovations to Bank of America Stadium and keep the Carolina Panthers in their current location for the next 20 years. So this is going to take place between 2025 and 2029. City Council expected to vote whether to approve the partnership on June 24th, 2024. Tepper Sports and Entertainment would have a 20-year non-relocation agreement for the Panthers under the proposal, but there is an out after the 15 years that would require Tepper and Sports and Entertainment to pay off the remaining 5 years of the debt if the team moved. So this would be the first major renovation since the stadium was completed in 1996. The city's contribution would come from hospitality tax revenue as it relates to tourism-related projects by law. The contribution will not require any increased or new taxes. So an additional $688 million plus would come from Tepper Sports and Entertainment. This includes all money owner David Tepper and his company have invested since Tepper purchased the team in 2018 for $2.275 billion. This would bring the total investment in renovations, including a new practice facility that is currently under construction, to more than $1 billion. Renovations will include brand new seats installed throughout the bowl, improved accessibility throughout the facility, designed and constructed in a way that allows individuals with a range of disabilities to have access without barriers, stadium safety and security enhancements, including illuminated wayfinding and improved lighting, a reimagined South Lawn Pavilion area that can be used as a community gathering spot, an outdoor classroom or on game days and non-event days, upgraded restrooms throughout the stadium for better sustainability, accessibility, and speed of service, enhancements to the stadium exterior to reaffirm its place as an iconic, beloved fixture of the Charlotte skyline. So, nice to see some improvements. Going to cost a lot of money. I think the stadium can use some improvements myself. I went to some games last year for the first time ever, and the stadium's nice. It's fine. Definitely nothing too fancy. Definitely seems a little bit outdated, but I think the bones there is pretty good, and the overall structure, I think, updated. I think the lighting thing is a good thing. I think there's some areas you're just walking through that are pretty boring, and could use some lighting would be nice. I think having the bathroom accessibility is always nice at a venue, and I have had to wait in some lines there before, so I think that could be something to address and something that all stadiums should address. I think they allowing individuals with a range of disabilities is nice. Get as many people that are able to watch the sport comfortably that they're able to. I think that's nice. So, all cool stuff, money aside, and just definitely a big update for the Carolina Panthers that will be happening in the near future, and I can definitely be reporting on that. So, Carolina Panthers in the off season, and mild hope for next year, but pretty decent update on the stadium. So, NBA teams, the Charlotte Hornets, team I follow since I live in North Carolina, and then my favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks, who have the number one pick in the upcoming draft. Nothing really new to report there. The finals is going on in the NBA, so the Celtics took game 1 against the Mavs. They play tonight. And then I think the next game, I think they play tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not sure. But then Wednesday night's another game. So I think friend of the show, Pab, is going to that game. So pretty exciting stuff. And then the Atlanta Braves. I'll tell you about the update on them. What's been going on with the Atlanta Braves, my favorite baseball team. Last Sunday, they beat the A's. So that's been an update since I last talked to you. They won 3-1. The Braves are off Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, they beat the Red Sox Tuesday and lost Wednesday. And then Thursday through Friday, they've been playing the Nationals so far. Thursday through Saturday, they've been playing the Nationals. So Braves won Thursday, lost Friday, lost Saturday, and they play the Nats at 1:35 today on Sunday. If you're listening real time, it's about 11 a.m. So a couple hours to go until the Braves game today. And the Xbox showcase is during that same time, so going to have some really quality entertainment. But the Braves have been slumping. We had the big Ronald injury, had the Strider injury, had Murphy being out, had Riley being out. Been some stuff. Kelnick getting a little bruised up. We had Ozzy out for a stint. It's like, I don't know if we had Ozzy out. That might have been last year. But been rough for the Braves. And some of these guys haven't been hitting up to par. I think they need to turn it around. I think a lot of the comments, too, have been that. So they've been recognizing that. They've been getting asked those questions in the media. So I don't think the Braves are cooked by any means. But I think they need to step it up a little bit. And it's a long season. This is definitely a little bit of a drought. They've been having a little bit of drought seasons throughout this season, but I think they're going to get it together. I think they're still trying to. They've had 2 really major injuries, so you're not gonna bounce back immediately after that. And there's some like trade rumors flying around for like Lewis Robert Jr. and I'm trying to think of a few other people I've seen, but I've seen a lot of like top 10 landing spots for blah blah blah, and they had the Braves on a lot of them. So I wonder if that's any merit to that. We'll be seeing any moves being made. Braves trying to enhance the roster at all, but I think that could possibly be a good move at this point. And I know they're always trying to improve at the deadline, but I think they could have some extra necessity this year, maybe just to mix it up and get a little bit extra energy in there or something. But the Braves are going to play the Nats today at 1:35, and then next week they are on to the Orioles. They're off tomorrow if you're listening in real time, so no Braves baseball on Monday. But then Tuesday through Thursday they are at the Baltimore Orioles, which is a very tough team, and that should be a tough matchup. And then Friday through Sunday they're in Atlanta at home versus the Rays, so another tough series. So a really tough week of games coming up for the Braves, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to showcase their talents. Would be the media spin on it, but they need to step it up, and I hope my favorite team in the world will do it, and I'll be there watching it because I love some Bravos. I love the worldwide world of sports, and that's all I really have to say for today. So we talked about my favorite teams, the Carolina Panthers, having their big stadium renovation starting, or has been proposed. The Hornets and the Hawks, not too much going on with them, and the Atlanta Braves are playing the baseball, which I love, and I hope to see some more wins from the Braves. Is my hope. So that's going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section of the show. That's going to wrap up the entire show in general. So just thank you so much for listening to the show every week, as you always do, and just being a really, really great Dep Lewis Show fan. I just want to reiterate some promotional stuff from the beginning to really help me out, because it really does. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow. For $1 a month right now, you can, for the ground floor tier for the first 100 patrons. With this tier, you will gain access to an additional podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. This is a podcast without a plan that has a freestyle schedule, but it's a great way to get additional content and support the show. After the first 100 patrons, the regular price for this tier will begin. Ground floor tier pricing will never change, and will gain access to all Dep Lewis Show Patreon content always. So thank you for any support you give to me in the show, and just thank you for being you. I hope you have a great week out there in the world. Hope you're watching some of these video game showcases. Please come back next week. I'll definitely be talking about the Xbox showcase, the Ubisoft Forward, and maybe a Nintendo Direct. You never know. I think there's some possibility that could be next week, but maybe the week after. But you want to listen to the Dep Lewis Show every week. You're going to get a little bit of insight in the video games I like and what I'm playing. So you get some opinion stuff there. I'm going to tell you about what I see going on around the video game world, which is something I pay attention to. So that's the midsection. Then the final section of the show, as always, is just miscellaneous talk, and it's usually sports talk. So, if you know anybody that likes all that stuff, please introduce them to the show, and just thank you for listening, and have a wonderful week out there in the world. And just please come back for another episode of Dep Lewis Show, because that's where I'll be next week. And just thank you. And, come back for another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. See you next time.